Ari. Hello.
Hello, Adam. Piper, no.
Piper, no. How are you?
I love that you have not even watched that show, but you know the pop culture of it all.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be clued in. How are you doing? How are you?
Girl, it is. I know it's been a whole week. It's been forever. It is too damn hot over here in the nation of no aircon, and everyone just deals with it. And you know what? This is my go off on this podcast. Mm-hmm. How are British people just dealing with the fucking flies that just fly in your house then? Because you have to have your windows open?
Yeah. And
because it's so hot. No, they don't have screens. The other day, I have a video. I'll send you the video. The other day, a cat just jumped into our window because I'll send it to you right now, because our window was just open. And this is a cat that we are friendly with. So it's like a cat that we know, but she's so scared of our dogs, unfortunately.
She's just like a stray, or she's like a...
No, she's like a neighborhood cat, but because there are no coyotes here. So like cats don't have predators here. So they can just... outside cats are like way more popular than in America. Wow. So everyone will like have cats. Like it's like they own the cat and the cat comes to their house and stuff. But it's like they just roam around the neighborhoods. It's like very normal. There are people that genuinely believe like indoor cats shouldn't exist here. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. There are places where cats literally can't be outdoor because like there are coyotes and mountain lions like where we live. So I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, Ari, this week we read chapter 18 called The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. What happens in this chapter?
Harry and Hermione read the greater good chapter in The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore and discuss their theories.
And they have like a little book review after.
And then have a little book club.
Yeah.
Great. So basically this chapter opens with the sun is rising as Harry is starting his watch, because as we remember, they escaped Godric's Hollow, but then Harry was like unwell. Mm-hmm. And then Hermione was like nursing.
And his wand is fucked.
And his wand is ruined.
Yeah.
Snapped. Snap out of it.
Snap out
of it. His wand has been snapped, and he's not been well. So Hermione was like nursing him through the night, and for which he did not thank her.
Yes,
we were really mad about it.
We'll get to the thank you or the non-thank
yes,
you.
I wrote. You know, I had to mention it. I'm gonna read it out loud. I'm gonna read out loud what he says. I was like, oh, long overdue, Harry.
Yeah.
So yeah. He's like observing how he feels. He's like, I should be happy because we're alive and we like nearly almost died, but correct. I just can't feel happy because I just feel so devastated. Literally. I almost was like suffocated to death by a snake, or like suffocated to the point where I passed out.
Right. And
then Voldemort was going to kill me.
Correct.
And Hermione, don't forget Hermione would have just been killed as well. Like, so they both almost died, but he can't really feel grateful for being alive at this moment because all he can think about is just his wand, and he is very, very devastated about it. And even though he has had many injuries, as we know, we know firsthand, you know, the injuries. We've gone through it chapter by chapter. This is the first time that he has felt fatally weakened, vulnerable, and naked. He actually was naked in book 4 with Myrtle, but this is the first time he actually felt it.
He felt naked. Mm-hmm.
So
I will say it would be very unsettling.
Oh yeah.
To be like, it's the most. I mean, he hasn't felt this vulnerable since he was a baby.
Oh yeah,
staring down the barrel of a wand.
A wand, yeah. No, I mean, I cannot imagine as a wizard that is just without your specific wand that you've like bonded with. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
she's like losing a very sentimental but like powerful object at the same time. He also, obviously, as we know, has this theory that his wand was like extra special, extra powerful because of this connection with the twin cores. He knows that Hermione would be like, oh no, like it's the wand is only as strong as the wizard, blah, 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 whatever. But no, he's like, I don't believe that. I believe that my wand was like, an extra special wand.
She brings up the point me thing, which is not point me, by the way, but like the thing it did in the sky earlier in this book.
Yeah. Yes.
She's going to address it. Don't worry. She will address it.
She will.
Now has referenced it like multiple times.
Yeah. So he's very concerned that now, having lost the connection of the twin cores and only now realizing how much he was kind of like counting on that now he feels like quite concerned of like, okay, well, how am I gonna really stand a chance against Voldemort? Because he was really counting on that kind of protecting him. So he puts the 2 broken wand pieces into the pouch that he wears around his neck. This pouch, that again, I don't understand why the Horcrux has not been living in this pouch. Also contains the snitch, which he like lightly brushes as he's like putting the 2 pieces of the wand in there. And then he just has like
has
little
the shard of the mirror in there too.
Yes, the mirror is in there as well, which I'm like,
he says it's like filled with broken and useless objects.
Yes. And I'm like, also crazy to just have a shard of glass in your bag.
I was like reaching into a bag, like I was like,
thank you. Bless you.
Like, bro.
I'm just like, okay, I don't know about that. So this kind of like triggers him into just a little like rage spiral where he's just like raging internally about Dumbledore and like how useless the snitch is. And it's just everything is like been so unhelpful. Like it's just
this is a perfect time to read The Life and Lies of Albus.
Yeah.
Perfect headspace for this reading.
Timing. Yeah. But yeah, he's just like, he's really like pissed off in his own head. He's like, nothing has been explained properly to me. We still don't have the sword, so we don't know what the hell we're going to do with that. He's upset at himself because he dropped the photo of the thief. So he's like, well, Voldemort basically has everything he needs now. So that's great. He's going to be able to find the thief like no problem and get the answer to whatever question he's trying to figure out. And then right at this moment, Hermione comes out with tea for him and for her. And she has like tear streaks like on her face. So she still has been crying kind of as he's started the watch. And then
she's so prone to emotion.
Just like a woman.
Just like
a woman.
And that's what makes Ginny so great. Is Ginny doesn't
it is so okay. Adam can confirm.
I love setting Ari off on a little tangent so I can take a little sip of my drink.
Yeah. You're like, this is all going according to plan. Adam can confirm I have always been a very emotional person. I think I just always was going to be because I literally was raised by a cognitive behavioral therapist. So it was just, bound to happen for me. But I think being an emotional person is such a sign of strength. It definitely took me a while to block out people's like gaslighting of like, oh, you're so emotional, blah, blah. It definitely took time to get through that. But it is just so crazy to me that like she is so unaware of how she writes, like, because sometimes she will have these really lovely emotional moments, like how we had that beautiful moment with Harry. But then it's like the way that she writes kind of Hermione is probably the most emotional character, correct? Out of all of the characters in this book, she's the one that shows emotion like the most.
The most and easy. I mean, besides Myrtle, I probably technically,
Right, sure, Myrtle. I don't think Myrtle's a very positive
Myrtle
example of emotion, though. But I think Hermione's a good example of a person that is relatively grounded, but also emotionally intelligent.
Well, it's interesting because you say this, but it's only because people, when they consider people being emotional, they only consider it in terms of like sad or like upset in that way. But anger is never considered like as one of the emotional emotions, right? Like it's like,
yeah.
Like Draco's emotional through this whole fucking book series, but no one is ever like, and Draco the emotional character, like, right? Like that's not.
That is
like,
true. He's emotional. I think it's
Snape
obviously
is depressed for the last like 18 years of his life, but
I think what I'm saying more though is like she has emotional awareness of like the whole, like she's out of anyone, we could probably say the only character other than what maybe like the adults, like Dumbledore, Lupin. Sirius is emotionally aware in the beginning, but then when he ends up in Grimmauld Place, he's quite dysfunctional.
I don't know. There's also, I mean, all the adults kind of have, maybe not all the adults, but a lot of the, I would say like Hagrid is probably our other really emotional character that maybe isn't emotionally necessarily intelligent, but like
he's openly
very, like,
emotional.
Openly emotional.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to me sometimes how it's like a lot of the time when Hermione is emotional, or not even Hermione, when we talked about like Cho getting emotional, or like how exactly what you said a couple seconds ago about like Ginny not being emotional. Like I'm like, you're saying that through Harry's voice, but are you telling us like the absence of emotion, you're seeing that as strong? Because I'm like
150%.
Yeah, like, and I'm just like, all right, I would never be a person that would agree with that you couldn't make me believe that. So whatever. But it's just weird that it's like, it's so, excuse me, there's such an undertone of that throughout like the whole series. And the only person that,
it's the energy of like the person who commented on me and RJ's recap once for a show where I like went on this whole thing how I was like so mad about it, and they commented like, enough with the histrionics, Adam. You had good points, but it was like muddled because you were so like intense,
emotional,
or you were so emotional about it. And I was like, it's the people who are like, oh, you can only have like a good argument if you're like level-headed and you're
complete absence of emotion. Yeah. There is such, especially like I always think of the need for like feminine rage specifically, like how women are just like, oh no, you can never express that anger, you can never let it out, you just have to sit on it, or you just have to like, you can cry, that's fine, but you can't be angry because like then that, how dare you feel that emotion? And it's like, no, women need to let themselves be angry sometimes. There's actually a lot as women that we are angry about constantly. Like,
do you remember when Sandy Hook happened and Obama cried at the press conference, and like the press was like, Obama cries, and then like the right-wing media was like, he's just trying to manipulate people into giving away their gun, like getting rid of their guns or whatever. Like,
oh my God, they'll always
like
find
second
a way to
graders
spin
were
it.
shot, guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's tragic. It's a tragedy.
Hello. My God.
Anyway,
ridiculous.
It's so strange. How do we remove the shackles of this off of civilization?
My God, let people be emotional. I understand, like, yes, sometimes people use specifically white women. I'm saying we as a white woman myself, we as a group have been guilty of using tears to manipulate like certain situations so that then white women don't have to be held accountable. That's not what's happening there. He is emotional because of Anyway. Okay. There we go. End of tangent. Do you want to take one more drink, Adam?
Yes, thank you. Do you want to talk about Boudica? Anything you want to say about
Boudica? Speaking of feminine rage, so Hermione comes out with tea. He observes that she's almost afraid.
Said, sis, let me tell you the tea, honey.
The tea is piping, Harry. He observes that she looks a little afraid of him. She asks if she can talk to him, and he says yes, because obviously he doesn't want to be rude to her. He doesn't want to make her feel bad. She got the book. She reveals that she was able to nab the book that Rita published about Albus Dumbledore, The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. Mm-hmm. It was in the sitting room when she was down there, so she just took it because she was like, well, she clearly wasn't going to be able to read it, and now we know she wasn't going to be doing much of anything. So I don't think we need to feel bad about taking that book.
No, I don't think Bathilda's going to be reading any books in the coming time. No.
And there was a note in the book from Rita Skeeter herself. She's like, oh, yeah, here's a copy for you. You said everything, even if you don't remember it. That's what she said.
The Bathilda's nickname is Batty. Isn't that insane?
Quite on the nose.
Very on the nose.
Mm-hmm. So Harry is like obviously very relieved that she got the book. But she's still a little bit wary of him, and she says, "You're still Hermione is my communication style. I would just be like, you're still really mad at me, aren't you? I would this would be me. I would be like, can I talk to you? It's now a good time." And then I would be like, now a good time. I can tell you're still mad at me. Like, I just would not be able. And I realized that this is definitely an ADHD thing. Someone did a video on this recently where they were like, you don't realize like people that are neurodivergent, what we're saying is literally like verbatim what is like kind of happening in our head. It's almost like we can't not say it. So he was like, all you like neurotypicals out there that will like think something but not say it, we don't really know what that's like. And I was like, that was like the most me thing I've ever heard. Like sometimes I'll literally be like, I have to say, it's like uncomfortable for me to not say the thing I'm thinking to the person. Like I just like have to say it. Cause it's almost this weird thing of it's like, I feel like I'm being like dishonest. Like it's like if I'm not telling them what I'm thinking, it's like I feel like I'm being dishonest in a weird way. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, so I was like, so Hermione, you and me, we're the same, girl. And Harry, he has a very kind response to Hermione.
He does. He does not say thank you, but I feel like
he does not say thank you. But this is very long overdue, so I just wanted to read it out loud. He says, no, Hermione, I know it was an accident. You were trying to get us out of there alive, and you were incredible. Incredible.
You were incredible.
I'd be dead if you hadn't been there to help me. And then what I thought he should have gone on to say was, and you know what? I would have been dead at the beginning of this year. If you
right.
I literally would be dead right now. We wouldn't even be on this mission. I would have already died. So that is very kind. He returns her watery smile because she's smiling back at him.
Can I ask
then he's
question?
Like, let's get into this book. Yeah.
Do you think that, sorry, this is so off topic. Do you think that now that they've been alone for as long as they've been alone, just the two of them.
Yeah.
That neither of them has said the name Voldemort once this entire
I know.
time.
Yeah, because Ron isn't there at all.
Ron's not there.
It is hard to believe that. Yeah. I think
there's no way they're not talking about Voldemort, and there's definitely no way they're saying he who must not be named or you know who.
Yeah, I think she tries to play this off like they're just not really talking, like they had to plan the whole Godric's Hollow thing. So it is quite weird that they haven't said it at all. Because here's the thing, I can't remember. I think we do learn the jinx.
Maybe they've taken our approach and they are just calling him Voldy now.
Voldy. A smoke. You know, all our favorite
smoke.
names for him. I can't remember exactly what the jinx surrounding Voldemort is. Like, I can't remember if it's like it just like breaks all the protective enchantments, and then you're like, you know, you're just like caught out. I can't remember if that's what it is, because I was like, if they did say it but they had all their enchantments up, would someone appear but not be able to find them? Like, I can't remember. We'll probably get clarity of that as it goes on, but so yeah, so Harry's like, let's get into the book. He finds the photo of Albus with his friend Grindlewald.
Historians will say they were friends.
And this is annoying. Why don't she wanted to do the thing where she was hinting at it but didn't actually come out?
Now
queer baiting, the actual queer baiting.
Because again, this is the second time I've read this book in my life.
Yeah.
The first time was when it came out, and obviously the
we would have been so young.
Dumbledore, her explanation of like Dumbledore's past.
Yeah.
Came out after the book, like after whatever.
Yeah.
So it's now fascinating because you can read through the lines. There's definitely an aspect of this that Rita is implying that they were more
hinting
than
that they were more than I want to be more than friends. Oh dang it, that's an Auntie Donna reference that never mind.
It's a little bit scandalocious.
It's scandalocious. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can definitely infer that they were very interested in each other.
They were buddies, okay?
Yeah. They were boyfriends, you know? Yeah. So they both, like, when they see Grindlewald, it's like, Adam, you look in towards me, and I'll, oh, wait, no, I have to look this way. They're like, oh.
Stupid.
I can't wait to watch that back, because we can't watch it because we're turning.
Right.
So Hermione and him are like, oh my God, Grindelwald? There's only one Grindelwald. It's like Lelaine.
It's like Lelaine. I've always said it's just like Lelaine. Grindelwald and Lelaine.
It's Lelaine.
By the way, if you don't have no idea who Lelaine is, Lelaine was Miranda. Miranda?
If anyone watched Lizzie McGuire, they know who Lelaine is, Adam.
Was her name Miranda?
Yeah, Miranda. Yes.
Miranda and Gordo. Yeah.
Yeah. Miranda and Gordo. And then did you know, Adam, fun fact, did you know that she wasn't on like the final couple episodes of Lizzie McGuire, and she wasn't in the movie because she was filming another show that then never premiered on Disney Channel.
Oh, fascinating.
That was why she like wasn't
I've never
there.
seen the Lizzie McGuire movie. Turn off the pod.
Yeah, turn off the cameras. Cut the cameras, dead ass. Does Miranda know this? Yeah, goodbye. Does Miranda?
I don't know if Miranda knows.
I'm about to text Miranda right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, Miranda.
She knows
I'm
I've never
her a
seen
voice
the Goofy movie.
Yes, I know that she knows that you know that. Miranda, I am recording this while we are recording HP Anxious. Are you aware that Adam has never seen the Lizzie McGuire movie? I was like, I am sending a message to Miranda right now. Miranda, please let me know if you were aware of this already. She's going to be like, what the hell? Why is she sending me a voice memo? Oh my God. I cannot. You've never even seen like something from it?
I've seen the clip of the performance at the Coliseum.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God.
And I've seen the like iceberg dress, not iceberg, ice. What are those called?
The igloo dress.
The igloo coat.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. So this chapter that they begin reading is called The Greater Good. Albus graduates from Hogwarts as a prefect and head boy. He also got some like promising new wizard award. I can't remember what it was called. It was something. Is it important that I read it? No, it's not important. So basically he was the star pupil of Hogwarts, basically. So he was supposed to go on his little trip around the world with Alpheus Doge, as we remember.
Who she calls dim-witted? Doesn't she say it like he was
dog
like
breath?
Dog breath, yeah.
Yeah, dog breath Doge.
Halitosis.
I also just I'm like, is this... She just thinks like calling someone dog breath is just gonna like immediately discredit them. Like she just keeps calling him dog breath Doge for the entire book.
It's fascinating to read an excerpt of Rita Skeeter's writing, quote unquote, because like if I was reading this, I would be like, oh, this is poorly written because she's inserting herself as a character.
Yeah, which you're not.
Biography way too much. Which you're not supposed to do.
So. There's someone that lived in the same neighborhood as them who she interviewed who talks about Aberforth was throwing goat dung at her. I was like, wow, she's really going to die on this hill to connect Aberforth to goats and only goats. I was like, at this point, all we know about Aberforth is that he has some very deep connection with goats. He's throwing goat poop.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I was like,
what,
wait,
what were you reading?
I was like,
reading something as I was saying that.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at my text.
It's okay.
I was like, is that the thing? Because they were like the thing with the goats. It can't.
I don't know.
Is it just that he
threw goat poop?
I don't know. I don't want to know. Actually, I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
No, I know. It's so clear that she's trying to hint at bestiality without like. But I'm trying to make it light and funny, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I'm gonna Google what is Aberforth's thing with the goats.
I think it is. I think it's just
bestiality. This is from Reddit/Harry Potter r/Harry Potter. Bestiality is heavily implied, especially those inappropriate charms. But even as a young boy, he had an unhealthy obsession for goats. So
it confirmed that she's trying to say bestiality. Ugh. Because I don't know if you remember this, Adam, but we're going to find out at the end of this book that his Patronus is a goat. So she just really keeps it going the whole way through. So... she's basically talking about this trip that they're going to take together. And she's like, we know that Alpheus would like us to think the events after Kendra's passing are a certain way. But I'm here to tell you that's not really what happened. So she goes on about like his sister Ariana and how it was like, obviously Kendra was her original quote unquote jailer. But now Albus was the head of the family. So she's trying to kind of spin it as if Albus just continued like keeping her imprisoned in the house. And then, making it clear that like, but while Bathilda was quite cuckoo, she somehow managed, she managed to get out like these tidbits from her with like trusted interview tactics, which she very quickly reveals is just Veritaserum. And I'm like, again, wouldn't this be considered unethical? How is Veritaserum?
Yeah, I was shocked that she just said
she just said it. Yeah, I was like, oh, she's hinting at like, I thought it was like a memory charm type of thing, or yes, Veritaserum, like trying to like, get her memories like in a little like slughorns, something like that in a little. Yeah. No, she just straight up says it was worth like investing in the Veritaserum.
Which is, and I was like, I mean, like, it's so straight. There's no ethics in wizarding.
No,
because like,
I was like, you're not managing this
You're
at all.
drugging
Like,
this woman.
basically. And then saying that's what you did for the book. So I was like, that was wild to me.
I mean, she's supposed to be a sleazy writer, so like that's
maybe it's like,
point.
they're like, well, then we know it's the truth. Maybe that's why she said it. Like why she specifically said Veritaserum, so everyone would think it's 100% the truth, which I definitely don't. I think what she's sharing, probably Batilda was sharing truthful stuff, but Rita can do whatever she wants with it. And again, like Hermione says,
she says like in her explanation, she's like, she's older and doesn't remember as much, but I cobbled together a story based on like the few things she told me, and she only has like 4 quotes in this whole thing from Batilda proper. The rest of it's just like her full conjecture, being like, and
this
then
is what I think. So, Batilda apparently told Rita that Ariana was frail and delicate, like what the rest of the family said. But then she revealed something about Ariana that would make people... Oh, no. She reveals something about Albus that would make people feel different about him. So Grindlewald, we find out, was basically European Voldemort. So he never came to the UK, but he was like taking over Europe.
Mainland Europe, yeah.
And he was very brilliant. He was basically like considered as brilliant as Albus, but he was like doing twisted experiments, and he got kicked out of Durmstrang for whatever he was trying to do, which I'm like, aren't we supposed to assume he's doing like experiments on muggles? Wouldn't that be what we're thinking? Like, what?
I think later in the chapter it alludes to him doing like near fatal experiments on other students.
Oh, God. Okay.
Which is like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. So apparently, this is convenient. Batilda was his great aunt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right. So he introduced him to she introduced him to Albus. And then they would basically spend all day together, and then would also send each other owls like in the middle of the night, talking about what they were thinking. So there is this letter that is included in the book. So now we're reading a book within a book and a letter within the book.
Right.
And so
a letter within a book within a book.
Book, yeah. And so basically, Albus wrote this letter saying that wizards should seize control of like the Muggle population as well as the wizarding world. And it's for the greater good. And he even says like we should use force if it comes to that, but only the force necessary and nothing more. And then he points out, this was your mistake at Durmstrang. You didn't do this right. But now we're going to make sure we stick to this story, because that will be like our argument if anyone tries to disagree with us. But then he's also like, but you know what? I'm not complaining, because had that not happened and had you not gotten kicked out of Durmstrang, you wouldn't even be here now, and I would have never met you. And I'd still have my V card. And so then suddenly, barely 2 months into their friendship, they part ways, and they don't see each other again until this infamous duel that we've kind of heard telltale of.
Infamous duel.
So we find out
in chapter 22.
Yeah. So we find out that basically Rita is inferring that because of what she talked to Batilda about, right. It seems like what made Albus come to his senses, if that was in fact what he did, was the death of Ariana. Because Gellert Grindelwald was apparently there when whatever happened that resulted in Ariana's death. Yeah, whatever happened happened. And then when he came back home, he said to his aunt that he wanted to leave like the next day. So he left right after. Aberforth, obviously everyone knows, very much blamed Albus for Ariana's death. Punched him in the nose at the funeral.
Over her coffin.
Over allegedly. Her coffin. And Albus was very clearly devastated, according to Batilda as well. So now Doge and Batilda have both confirmed that Albus was devastated with Ariana's death. So Rita goes on to point out that Albus put off confronting Grindelwald for like 5 years while he's just like wreaking havoc during that time.
Gaining
which,
power,
like,
yeah. That's the
which, like,
implication.
To be fair, Albus at this point, what was working at Hogwarts? Like, where was it? Because he's not like an Auror. Like, it's not like his responsibility to go to Europe and take care of. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of like,
yeah. I don't know if he become. I don't know what the timeline is. Does he become?
Like, what is he doing?
A professor after Grindelwald, or is he already a professor when he goes and deals with Grindelwald?
I don't know. That's what I'm like. I think okay, if we're going to go off of Fantastic Beasts.
Oh,
yeah, he is at Hogwarts. He's a young teacher at Hogwarts.
They've already started calling him Professor Dumbledore.
Yeah. So supposedly he is teaching at this point. So I'm like,
because there's no institution of higher learning, just so everybody remembers.
Right.
That does not
just
exist.
Hogwarts to the world. So
yep.
So yeah, so he is wreaking havoc for like those 5 years, but then finally, obviously, Albus like hunts him down basically, and then he ends up going to prison where he resides for the rest of his life.
At Nurmengard.
Yeah, Nurmengard.
Which is interesting because weren't the trials post World War II the Nuremberg trials? Isn't that what they were called?
Oh, well then she would have definitely been inspired by that.
Trials? Oh, hold on. Trails? Nope, not
Trails.
Not trails. Yeah, the Nuremberg trials were held by the Allies against representatives of the defeated Nazi Germany for plotting and carrying out invasions of other countries across Europe and committing atrocities against their citizens in World War II.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's definitely inspired by that. So even though it did take him a little while, he did end up confronting him in the end. And then that's pretty much the end of the chapter. So Harry looks up at Hermione. Hermione obviously is Hermione's a speed reader like Adam.
They're reading it together, so the whole time I just assumed she had like finished the page and was just waiting for him to turn it, and she was like
This is why I don't read with other people, because I would feel so bad. I would just be like, yeah, I read it. Yeah, I sure the page.
Me too.
I don't need to fully comprehend what I'm reading. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
I get like, and I remember thinking that like when you would say skim, I'm like, what does that mean? I have to read it. Like I have to like sit there and like. So Aberforth. Oh wait, no, excuse me. So Aberforth and Albus go on with their lives. We don't know what Aberforth does. They never talk about like what he went to do. They talk about Dumbledore.
You and I know, but yes,
we know.
We don't. They don't say. Well, the book's not about Aberforth.
Adam, literally, the only time he gets brought up is to talk about him and a goat.
Correct. Him and a goat.
So, after they finish reading the chapter, Hermione tugs the book out of Harry's hand once she like makes sure he's done reading. She's like, "You good? Okay." And then she's a little bit alarmed because of the look on his face, because I'm sure he's like, well, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And she's like, remember that this is Rita Skeeter. This is Rita Skeeter that we're talking about. Okay? So you better than anyone know she can't really be trusted. And Harry's like, yeah, but what about that letter?
Yeah, what about the letter?
What about the letter?
Which is what I was like, yeah, but the letter's not good, Boots.
Yeah, the letter is not good. So it is interesting because it's weird because I honestly like see like both sides in this of it's like how like Hermione is like, okay, this is not great because Grindelwald apparently chose for the greater good to be like his motto. The whole like uprising of what he was doing. It was the motto of his whole thing. It was his slogan. So apparently he even made a prison, Newmangard, where he was going to put all the muggles, but then ended up going into that prison himself when he was caught by Albus. So Hermione immediately
It's a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hermione immediately tries to kind of play the whole like they were young card. And Harry's like, yeah, I knew you were going to say that, but they're the same age as us right now. We are the same age as them, and we don't believe any of that stuff. Which, like, to a degree, I understand what he's saying. I think, like, when I was reading this, I was thinking of, like, at this age, I was very much the whole, like, fat phobia bullshit that we were fed growing up. Like, I was, like, I think I hadn't broken that bullshit down. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh no, yeah, like we are not supposed to be overweight. Like, and it's like, if you are overweight, there's something like, and I very much do not believe that now. Everyone's bodies are different. Also, just because someone is thin does not mean they are healthy. Like all that type of bullshit of like the fat phobia that you get like shoved literally, as we've seen with this book series, like literally shoved on your throat, like things like that. But like, I was not like homophobic, like just things like that where I'm like, I don't know. There's certain things where it's like, yes, you do learn and you grow. But then also like, that's just like not a good look at any age to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to control the muggles. It's like,
yeah.
Oh no.
Well, it's the question of like, yeah. It's the like it's the liberal thing of being like, what's the purity test, right? Like, is Obama a bad person because at one point he did not believe gay marriage should be legal and then he changed his mind, or is it like better to have always believed gay marriage should exist, right? Like, yeah, there's no right answer. Probably the right answer is like, yeah, it would be ideal if everybody believed the same thing equally at the same time, but unfortunately, that's not how any of this works. So
I know. I think it is. I mean, and this is intentional, obviously, that they're literally reading about him at the age they are. Like, that is very intentional. But like, 17, 18, like I thought I was straight when I was 17, 18. Like, there just is so much you can discover about yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like in that time, like. So it's just, I don't know. I see both sides. I see that it's like, it's not good and it's not a good look. But I understand where Hermione's coming from of like, I'm not trying to defend what he wrote. It's basically magic is might, which is very much wrong. But Hermione's kind of like trying to make the argument of like, but he was alone there and his mother had just died, which Harry is like, he wasn't alone. He was with his sister and his brother. And so Hermione's like, I just don't believe it. I'm less interested
in her arguments of like the time versus like her argument of being like, but that's not the Dumbledore you knew, so that it doesn't matter. I mean, like,
yeah, but that's not what he ended up being.
Do you think that was who he is now? Like, that's
that's not who he. Like, that's not who he was in the end, which is what is important. And I do think like. Yeah, it's just hard. This is what I mean, that I get both sides. I get both of their arguments. Like, there's things that Harry says that I'm like, yeah, and there's things that Hermione says that I'm
Harry
like, yeah.
Harry is like completely justified being upset because he was used as a pawn and is still being used as a pawn from beyond the grave.
Yeah. So Hermione's like, he changed. He fought against it for the rest of his life. Like, he was made sure, to fight like in favor of like protecting muggles and made sure that they were able to live out their lives like as they have before and always should be able to. But then Hermione does hit the nail on the head because she says, I think you're really angry because Dumbledore never told you any of this himself. And Harry's like, yeah, you're right. That is what I'm mad about. And I was like, yeah, completely valid. And he's like, yeah, bingo. He just keeps asking me to risk my life over and over and over again, only to never tell me all of the information that I need. He never gives me all the info. He doesn't expect me. Oh, wait, no. Oh, sorry. I worded my notes weirdly. he keeps asking Harry to risk his life over and over again, only to never give him all the information that he needs to succeed. And then also expects Harry to be okay with him not explaining everything and to just like trust him blindly. But Harry feels like he didn't trust Harry with being fully honest with him. Like Dumbledore was never fully honest with Harry because Harry is thinking it's because he didn't trust him.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like a it's hard because also like I would not explain my entire life story to a 16 or 15-year-old either. Like,
there's a lot, yeah,
for you to know.
From Dumbledore's perspective, there's a lot more important things to be talking about at this point in time.
Right.
And focusing more on Harry and Harry's experience and what's going on with Harry's life, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff.
But
so, yeah,
also,
I think
he doesn't even tell Harry about his full story either.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, he's very valid.
He doesn't, Snape, the whole Snape always of it all doesn't have to be a secret. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it actually makes no sense that it's a big secret.
It's the secret from Voldemort, isn't it? That it's like, oh, well, just in case Voldemort comes back, we can't tell anyone because then you'll be the perfect double agent.
Okay.
So there is like a moment where it's a little quiet and then Hermione's like, he loved you. I know he loved you. And Harry's like, I don't think so. This isn't love. Whatever mess that he's like left me in, which like, fair enough. And then he just ends up.
Dumbledore loved Harry Potter.
I think in the end, which I remember him saying this, which I think might be clouding my answer because I remember he does end up caring about Harry, which is why he feels conflicted because he's trying to like keep himself on task with like the plan he had all along of like how he'll have to sacrifice himself. But then he ends up genuinely caring about Harry and he's like invested in his life, which he was trying not to be, but he ended up feeling that way in the end anyway.
Which is like why he avoids him in book 5.
Yeah, why he avoids him in book 5 is because he thought it was going to trigger like his connection with Voldemort, I think, mainly. But yeah, I think he was trying to be more hands off, but then yeah, he realized that he wasn't going to get there in the end if that's what he was doing. So Harry's like, you know what? I'm done talking about this. I'll finish this watch. You go back in the tent, whatever. So Hermione goes back into the tent, but she does like lightly touch his head before she goes back in, which I thought was very sweet. She's trying to offer him like some type of comfort because obviously he is very upset in this moment. And so I do think it just kind of helps like calm him down at least a little bit because it does say he like takes a breath or something. And then internally, he is just desperately hoping that what Hermione said is true. And that even though he doesn't feel like it, that Dumbledore did care about him in some way.
Right.
And that is the end of the chapter.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not great.
The worst part of this whole... I feel like I hate this aspect of this book being like... And then we have to like just... We take such a long detour...
I know.
The fucking Deathly Hallows. And I'm like, can we just get to the Horcruxes? I get it's all interconnected, but it's like, and now there's other stuff.
I know.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
I mean, it's the whole...
There's a little bit of it that I wish Hermione would be like, okay, sure, you read all this, and now what? Voldemort still has to die. Like, this doesn't change anything about this.
Doesn't change anything about like what we're doing. Yeah.
It's not like you read this and now you're like, well, maybe Voldemort has some good points.
Do you know what? Maybe we don't agree with Dumbledore, actually. Maybe Voldemort can just keep living. Maybe we both can live at the same time. I don't know.
It's not great. Well, great job. But you know what is great? The work you did today, Ari. It's great.
You know what, Adam? I did it for the greater good.
Oh, no. That wraps up this
no.
chapter. Next week, we'll be reading chapter 19, The Silver Doe. Let me look at our comments over here on Spotify and see what people have to say.
Yeah, what do you guys have to say on Spotify?
What do you guys have to say? We have a couple comments. Noelle commented on chapter 14, The Thief, and said, "Hello again. Just wanted to clarify that I am not British. I'm Italian."
Yes, Noelle, you set us straight. That's right. You tell us. Italiana.
So, I don't know what
Bienvenido?
welcome is in Italian.
Bienvenidos?
That's definitely in Spanish. It's probably very
Ciao.
similar.
Isn't it just ciao?
About Ron, I will always be mad that he was not written as the cool, reckless sidekick of the trio. So much wasted potential. Love you guys.
Yeah.
There's another avenue we could have explored.
That as well.
That was not the avenue that was chosen, unfortunately.
No.
And then in episode 16, Godric's Hollow, Sophia comments, "Hi there. Lovely episode as always. I read it like they were traveling up and down the country, even though it would be warmer staying in the south of England. Like you said, they were so paranoid to even freeze themselves, which I don't get because they can do magic. Like, magic yourselves warm. Duh.
Hello.
5 stars
Hermione, you
as
didn't
always.
pack winter clothes? Like, you didn't pack a coat?
Oh, so now we're blaming Hermione. Oh, I see, Ari. Okay, so now
No.
we're throwing a woman under the bus.
No.
I
What I'm
see.
saying is what we
We're
know
throwing
about
her right
my
under
girl.
the night bus.
What I'm saying is, my girl comes prepared. So I know there's a winter coat in there.
Yeah.
No, it is not. She should,
lovely
you know what? She should have
parka.
packed a winter coat just for herself and been like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, did you forget? Did you forget to pack a winter coat for yourself? Well,
Well, you better
too bad.
conjure yourself a fucking blanket.
Yeah. Good luck.
Maybe that's one of they can't conjure, like, clothing.
Physical things.
Yeah, because, like, what was there were the
5
rules
principles.
of-
Yeah,
the
whatever
5
it was.
principles or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah.
you can't conjure food, you can't conjure clothing, you can't conjure, and that's just to ensure that, businesses stay open, really, more than anything.
We got to keep our businesses booming. So we got to
Yeah,
create these
business
laws.
is booming. Well, thanks for writing in. We love hearing what you guys think. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so we can gain a perfect nude score. 5 stars only, or else you'll have to read the whole life and lies of Albus Dumbledore. You have to read the whole book.
Ooh. No.
Shitty writing. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HP Anxious or YouTube at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them and are a proud member of The Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thanks, Ari.
Thank you, Adam.
And as always... Wait, what was it? Good. For the good of everything. For the good.
The greater good. Yeah, exactly. That's the end is the worst.